Dovetail alignment boards. They're not a necessary part about cutting dovetails, but they are certainly a very, very helpful jig for marking out your pins after you've cut your tails. The way they work is they have a 90-degree angle with two coplanar fences and allows you to put your board that hasn't been cut yet into your vise and then place your tails on top of it and mark it out with a reference edge. So if you slip or the board moves, you can go back to where you were without losing your place. Let me show you how they work. We have one that we make on the CNC here in the shop. Looks like this. And we have a new version of it, version 2.0, which I've made a few improvements that I think makes it a little bit more accurate and repeatable. So let's come into the bench. Let me show you how these work and how we put ours together. Okay, so one of the things I always recommend as a first dovetail project is making one of these because it's a great way to practice joinery. Like I said, if you want, you could order one from us, but here's how it works. So this is 90 degrees, and that's really not even a crazy requirement. If it's off by a degree or two, it's not that big a deal. But the magic is these coplanar fences. So you can see if you get two coplanar fences, then what that gives you is the ability to take your joinery on top and pretend these are dovetails, not their inferior inbred cousin box joints. It allows you to get your pieces perfectly aligned. You can see those edges are exactly flush to each other, and then you lock this in your vise. In fact, let me show you. So you lock the board that you're about to mark on, and you ensure that it's flush against the fence on both the top and the bottom, and then you ensure that it's just flush with your top here. You can do that. That's real easy to do, especially if you don't tighten your vise all the way and just sort of leave it kind of loose. And then it's real easy to just take your joinery board here and mark out your dovetails. So you have a reference edge, so that way, you know, if you, let's say you need to switch hands or something, and in fact, mine just slipped, and it slips or you move, then it's really easy to just come back exactly to where you are with the fence and continue to mark out. And you can see we've got perfect marks, and it makes marking these out repeatable. Now let me show you how our new one works, how I put them together and why it's better than our old one. Okay, so here's our old one and here's our new one. And the way the old one came is you obviously can't cut an inside corner with a round router bit. So what we would do is there was a third pass in the CNC operation where we rounded over these top corners using a straight bit. And the problem was that, one, these were always a little bit proud. Something about the math and putting these together, these were always a little bit proud and you had to sand them flush. Plywood's never fully flat, and it's hard to get a 4x8 sheet or a 5x5 sheet on a CNC to sit completely flat. So if it was lifted even a little bit, it would cause some inaccuracies in here. And then what we would do is round over the top corners and put these fences on. But you can see right here in this corner with that round over, sometimes it would have enough of a round over that if you clamped this too high, it could cause the fence to slightly rotate in, which would completely screw up your coplanarness here. So let me show you our new ones, which are here. What we've done is we've ensured that these are either flush or a little bit recessed, which is much better for accuracy. And we've solved the corner problem by creating what's called a dog ear, which are these little round holes here in the corner, which allow us to not have to do that round over pass, which also was really ugly looking when you saw it. Just, you know, a rounded over plywood through the plies looks kind of silly. So this is a much more accurate version. It can be installed either way. This one had to go a certain way, so we'd end up resending you a new one, and it was kind of a pain in the butt. So here's the new ones. You can see they're perfect. They're designed to be real tight, which helps with the accuracy. So if yours are kind of tight, you can kind of spin them around a little bit and they can go either way, and then you just glue them together. And because there's no more roundovers, it's really easy to get them a perfect 90. In fact, they kind of just go together 90, and you can adjust if you need. And then what we do is we take the fences, and you want to verify that we got this right here. We do our best with quality control, but nobody's perfect, and occasionally something slips through. But these two fences, you want to make sure that these two planes are completely flush. So those two are perfect. So you're going to glue these two together. And then what I like to do for the fence is, one of the things you can do when you're putting something like this together, whether you're making your own or you're putting ours together, is if you clamp this too tight, you can actually compress the wood enough that it causes the fences to go out of coplanar. So here is my technique, is I just take a couple drops of wood glue, just like that. And then, little clamping trick, is you take some super glue, put it in between those, just like that. And then you use, this is that really, really good smelling super glue. It smells like fruit. Take some accelerator and then just do a little bit of hand pressure there, and that'll keep you from over clamping it. And we're pretending this has already been glued up. There's no trick to that. You just put glue in there and put them together. So just like that. And then that's on there. Honestly, you don't even need wood glue. Pretty easy to do it with just super glue because these are very low impact jigs. But you can use regular wood glue for sure, you know, if you want to create that long-term bond. And then once that's dry, you've got two coplanar fences, and you could leave it just like this, or you can give it a light sanding. I like to just slightly give that corner just a little bit of chamfer. I'll hit all the corners just to take some of the sharpness out of the jig. Spray some lacquer on it, and you get this guy. So that's a dovetail alignment board. You know, one of the other ways that people do it is they'll lock their piece to be marked out in a vise and use a hand plane and just make their board level with the hand plane and then put their board on top and do that. So there's lots of ways to do this. However, I do really enjoy using this, and I use it every time I cut dovetails because it just makes it repeatable and easy. And if you slip, which happens all the time when you're marking out, and if you don't have a reference fence, it's kind of hard to get back. Plus, this ensures your boards are square to each other, and anything that helps your success towards cutting complicated joinery is a benefit. So if you want to support the channel, head over to the Katz-Moses store, pick up a dovetail alignment board, a stop block, an apron, dovetail jig. Thanks for watching. Stay safe in the shop.